Hello. Have you ever been completely wrong about someone just by looking at them? And what if I told you that same kind of shallow judgment can keep you from recognizing the truth of God? Welcome to Kevin's Corner, where truth is diligently sought, deliberately taught, and dauntlessly defended. My name is Kevin Probst, and today I want to share a powerful moment with you from John chapter 7, where Jesus was being criticized for healing on the Sabbath day. And Jesus confronts the crowd that had completely misjudged him because they only looked at the surface. In John 7, 20 through 24, they said to him, "You have a demon." And they asked him, "Who is trying to kill you?" And Jesus said, "I perform one work, and you are all amazed. And this is why Moses has given you circumcision. Not that it comes from Moses, but from the fathers. And you circumcise a man on the Sabbath. If a man receives circumcision on the Sabbath so that the law of Moses won't be broken, are you angry at me because I made a man entirely well on the Sabbath? Stop judging according to outward appearances. Rather, judge according to righteous judgment." So Jesus asks a piercing question, "Why are you trying to kill me?" And the crowd responds almost dismissively, "Who's trying to kill you?" And many of them didn't even realize what was happening behind the scenes. The religious leaders had already made up their minds about Jesus. They wanted him dead, ever since he healed a man on the Sabbath. And so Jesus exposes their inconsistency. And he says to them, "You're upset because I healed someone on the Sabbath, yet you perform circumcision on the Sabbath to keep the law of Moses." In other words, you're willing to cause pain on the Sabbath to keep your tradition, but you condemn me for relieving pain on the Sabbath. And then comes the command. Stop judging according to outward appearances. Rather, judge according to righteous judgment. They looked at Jesus and they saw a lawbreaker. They looked at themselves and they saw righteousness. But the truth, it was the exact opposite. I remember not long ago pulling up to a stop sign, and a bright, shiny truck pulled up beside me. It looked brand new, spotless, impressive. And so naturally I wondered who owned it, and then I realized that it was a septic vacuum truck. And I couldn't help but think about the contrast, how clean and polished it looked on the outside and what was actually on the inside. And that's exactly how outward appearances can deceive us. And so Jesus uses a similar picture in Matthew chapter 23. He called the Pharisees whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside, but inside full of death and uncleanness. They looked righteous, but they weren't. And Jesus looked like a sinner, but he was the righteous Son of God. Jesus isn't telling us not to judge at all. He's telling us to judge rightly. Think about Lady Justice holding a scale, blindfolded. That blindfold represents impartiality. She doesn't see status or appearance or background. She only sees truth. And that's the kind of judgment that Jesus calls for. And that's where this hits home for us today. How often do we make snap judgments based on appearances, assumptions, or incomplete information? Righteous judgment requires humility. It requires truth. And it requires willingness to see things the way God sees them and not just the way they appear. So the question is simple. Are you judging by appearances or by truth? Because things are not always as they seem. Thank you for joining me today on Kevin's Corner. If this message challenged you or encouraged you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, seek the truth, no matter how it appears.